All right, everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Bluebond Podcast, or the Bluebond PeekShow Podcast. Of course, what was that?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. All right. Of course, we asked people, what do you think we should talk about? And this week's topic was kind of the same, but a little bit different than last week. Instead of recognizable guitar tones, we're talking about just guitar tone in general. Who's got good guitar tone? What makes good guitar tone? All that kind of crap. So right off the bat, if I had to ask you, and we did not plan this at all, if I had to ask you real quick, top of your head, guitar tone, who is it? Who's got the best one?
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
TS-808 through a Fender amp?
Wow.
Yeah, but the problem with, what the problem with Stevie Ray is?
He's dead?
That is a good problem. That friggin' helicopter, man. Helicopter. First off, lesson number one, if you ever become someone famous, stay the fuck off out of helicopters.
Yeah, helicopters are bad.
They go down, man.
Yeah, and can you imagine? You
Not
can't
gently.
survive. You can't. It's like dropping it's like dropping a grape into a Cuisinart and hoping for the best.
Yeah.
He'll survive. No, you're not going to survive
You
that
can
shit.
at least kind of glide.
Yeah.
There's no
You gotta
gliding
fight
in a
your
helicopter.
chance. You gotta
All
fight your
right.
chance.
No, but the problem with Stevie Ray's tone is he just his strings. What did he use? 13s?
Yes.
I think he did, yeah.
13s,
Granted,
high action.
Yeah, tuned a half step down, but still, that's God bless him. I don't know how he did it.
Yeah.
All right, tone wise, who's your number one?
Ooh, so many.
Yeah, there are quite a few.
We should have thought about this.
I'm a sucker for the Van Halen tone.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
On Van Halen 1,
Oh,
thank you.
More
Fair
Van
Warning.
Halen.
Fair Warning has better tone. Mean Street?
Again, it was probably the time of my life that I heard the first Van Halen record, which was sounded different than anything out there,
Did you see the Sunset Sound tapes?
No.
There's video. They pulled the Sunset Sound original tapes of their recording sessions for Van Halen 1.
Well,
There's like a 45-minute.
Isn't it in Eddie Van Halen's studio? He had racks and racks of tapes from all of that old stuff, but it's all deteriorating.
Yes.
It's like
Yeah,
it's falling apart.
Melting, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I saw that on TV. Yeah. First off, your answer's wrong.
But thanks for playing.
I will. I'll stay there with Chris. Oh, we didn't introduce Chris. This is Chris, by the way. Stevie Ray is a good answer. It's a very good answer. I'm trying to delay here. What am I trying to do? To I think of someone. Not procrastinate. I don't know.
No.
Good tone.
What do you think, Richard? like if I didn't know already what you were going to say?
Oh, I wasn't going to say Jerry, but yeah, Oh, okay. Good tone. That's a good question. Would you say that Jerry Garcia has great tone or great fingers?
I think they're indistinguishable.
The tone is the fingers a lot of the time.
Yeah.
I know, but his tone, it's like...
Now,
I wonder if you could hear that. Can you hear that dirt bike go by?
Yeah.
I'm sure they could.
Yeah, it's surprising what these mics don't pick up if you're away from them. But yeah, okay, you know what? That auto wah sound, I love that. It just melts my heart.
Yeah.
But I would
He had
not...
a great sound.
But
He had a great time.
But I wouldn't say that he's in the top whatever of great tones, because it's, know why? Because, okay, this is interesting. You could play Jerry things. Like if you're in a dead band and your Jerry tone isn't spot on, you're okay.
Yeah.
People will accept it. But if you're doing Stevie Ray, you got to have that tone, or else people are going to be like, Can you imagine like someone doing Stevie Ray through a Line 6 amp? Can you imagine if you were in a club and that happened?
Yeah.
People have tried.
It's not good.
Oh my
It's not
God,
good.
you'd be like, please stop.
It's like flying on a helicopter. It ends badly.
Shit, I'm trying to come up with who really is my favorite. Like when I listen to it, we talked about it before. God, I don't want to say Gilmore, but I might say Gilmore.
That was going to be my second answer, Gilmore.
Because that really is such. It's wet.
Yes.
I don't even know what that
Yes.
means, but it's a wet tone.
Yeah.
But okay, here's the question: if you would know, I don't think you might know. If I had to say, like, what is the Gilmore tone? How did he get it? Do you think most people would know his amp setup? Like, I don't. Do you?
I know his guitar setup.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he modified that. He had like 5 or 6 different necks and a bunch of different pickups that he swapped in and out. And he had a Kaler tremolo on it for a bunch of years. And then they refilled in when he went back to the original tremolo. I mean, so that guitar was modified a lot, but he still always sounded like him.
But what amp did he use?
He had this weird Epiphone amp, I think, an FM1 something.
Wow.
I remember it's 2 letters and a number. But also you have to consider his tone changed drastically over the years.
True. Actually, wait. And I'm coming up with a new tone that you guys are not going to agree with.
Good.
Wait. I'll tell you. Okay, so I'll tell you the rig as best as I can. All right. Gretsch 6120, 5120.
In the basement.
Roland tape echo going through the Fender Bassman.
Brian Setzer.
That is a fucking awesome tone.
Yes,
yeah,
it
you
is.
might not like the
Brian
Stray Cats.
Setzer?
Yeah, you might not love the Stray Cats,
fantastic tone.
Yeah.
but that tone is so amazing.
It is.
Like I will listen to him play. I was so into the Stray Cats. I remember seeing them it was 1983ish at the Tower Theater. And it's like, I wish I still had it. I had my leather jacket back then, and I had this Stray Cat enamel pin that I bought back then at the show. It was so awesome. God, I wish I still had that thing.
Phenomenal tone. Yeah, phenomenal tone.
Yeah, I like the unprocessed tones. I don't, but then again, Gilmour's very processed. But if it's too processed sounding, it's copyable.
Yeah, I mean, for those tours after the original Floyd, I mean, he was using the EMG pickup setup. Yeah, but it still sounded like him, which
Goes
gives
back to your
argument
point.
the-
It's the player and
he
the
uses,
setup. Yeah.
he uses the tremolo as a vibrato instead of his fingers. So
He-
that's
yeah.
subtly, you can only raise the pitch with your finger, but he would bend it down first.
Yeah,
so that was a big
he
thing.
had his Strat set up floating, which is always a pain. I don't know if most people know this. When you set up a Strat, it's not like a Floyd Rose. We don't
Strike
normally
that,
set them up
reverse
so
it.
you
The
could
tremolo
lower
normally
the
goes
pitch of the
down.
note. You can always
You just-
raise it.
normally
but
you
if you
can't
set up
raise
a
the
Strat that you
pitch.
can lower and raise it, you're going to have tuning issues
Yeah.
like crazy unless you have a tech who's working on your guitar every gig. Right. Yeah, it's just a really hard setup. Yeah, which he did.
Yeah.
But you can do it. Even with the vintage 6-screw bridge, you can set that. In fact, we just did that for someone. Who did I do that for? It was just a Strat that was in here that he wanted it floating.
Yeah.
Dave Venor. Shout out to Dave Venor.
Okay.
Big Dave. But yeah, it was a 6-screw vintage style tremolo that we set so it floats a little bit. But it is, the guitar's got to be set up really well to stay in tune if you're going to do that, which obviously his is. But that was, I guess, when I was younger, before I really watched videos of him, I didn't realize that's what he was doing.
Yeah.
That he was using the tremolo as much as he is.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and most of his first couple records, he was playing a telly with no tremolo. Like,
Really?
Yeah, like metal.
Was he
and,
bending the neck?
Well, he wasn't doing that technique yet. Like
Ah.
that's why I said it. He evolved over time. As soon as he got that black Strat with the 3, it's an actual model, the David Gilmour guitar. When he got that guitar, that was I think during the Wall, and then he started his solo project.
That first solo album was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was so
Murder.
good. Murder,
Yeah,
yeah.
great song.
Blue
great
Light,
song.
yeah.
Blue Light,
yeah.
yep. And then the penchant for the delay, like the Run Like Hell thing, and yeah, pretty cool.
That's
But
good.
that was a telly actually. That track.
No kidding.
Yeah. Even when he toured with the new Floyd, he brought out a telly for that one song.
Because I know supposedly like on Another Brick in the Wall for the solos he used the Les Paul because of the shorter scale length.
Yeah.
Because some of those bends are like 2 steps and 2.5 steps on the solo.
And that was totally clean. He plugged in straight into the board.
Oh, that was
with
a DI?
with a
Oh, no
compressor.
kidding.
That's
Wow.
why it sustained like it did. Yeah. Yep. So, okay, I got a question for you guys. What about clean guitar tones? Because even Jerry's was kind of overdriven because he used those DiMarzio pickups and stuff. But what's your favorite clean sound?
Ooh.
I have 2.
When you try to come up with on the spot, like, because obviously I'm taking anything remotely jazz oriented out of my equation.
Oh well, yeah. Yeah, I wasn't even thinking.
This is way out of left field. There's a song by Living Color called "Solace of You," and Vernon Reid has this gorgeous tone on it. It's clean.
Oh, nice.
Do you get the feeling that Vernon Reid was the guitar player that never was? Like, he was supposed to be, he was so great, but he never really got the recognition of being so great. It was
Yeah.
like, yeah.
Phenomenal player.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. You know what? Just because in my car I have Sirius XM,
Yeah.
and because I was in high school in the 80s, I've been listening to First Wave radio, which is all alternative 80s
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
You know, that fucking clean guitar of the 80s with a little bit of chorus and a little bit of the delay. Like, you start, like, Echo and the Bunnymen stuff. I don't even know who the guitar player for Echo and the Bunnymen is or was. But there's something about that tone that
great
gets
tone.
me. It's like, you know, the Smiths comes on and you get that little jangle. And, like, I like that stuff.
Yeah.
You know, actually one of my favorite, like, the Jam. Like, that was
yeah.
pretty clean guitar
clean.
playing.
Yeah, it's clean.
Like, apparently, and I did not realize it because I, you know, when I was in high school, I listened to a lot of that stuff, but then I quickly moved on from it. But now that I'm older, listening to it on the radio, I love that shit. I love that 80s alternative, you know, Susie and the Banshees comes on the radio, and I'm like,
Great
woohoo.
stuff. Yep.
And you know, as you guys know, I am schooling my daughter in all of that.
Yeah.
Good for her.
You know, I like quiz her in the car too. I'm like,
this?
it comes on. I'm like, don't look at the radio. Who is this? You know?
Knopfler had a phenomenal clean tone.
Oh, yeah.
Who?
Knopfler.
Mark
Oh,
Knopfler.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He had a great
We talked
clean
about
tone.
him in the
Yeah.
last one. What about
Wait.
Oh,
back
yeah.
to Knopfler. Back to Dire Straits. Of people who like Dire Straits, how many people do many people go past 10 cuts?
Oh, God, yeah.
Really?
I'm a huge Dire
I'm not sure
Straits
I go
fan.
past 10 cuts on Dire Straits.
what do you mean go past? Like listen to
Yeah,
more than 10
like,
cuts?
you know,
Like 10
when I
songs?
think of what I like from them, it's, you know, give me their top 10.
Yeah.
You know, and the rest, you know, I'm not sure how deep I go because it's been years. Like I don't remember the last time I dropped a Dire Straits CD or I don't know if people. I was going to say record CD, whatever. But yeah, I haven't listened to a whole Dire Straits album in 20 years.
Yeah.
Love Over Gold. Oh, man, that is a great album.
I like
Telegraph
that.
Road is on
Naked
there.
Movies is my favorite, the big one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Skate Away has a phenomenal
Romeo
tone
and
on-
Juliet? Come
Yeah,
on.
Romeo and Juliet.
Okay.
Tunnel of Love.
Yeah,
with
yep,
the
yep.
was that Carousel that opens with the piano? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, I'm going to disagree with 10 cuts. There are, if you're a Dire Straits fan, there are
Yeah.
dozens of cuts that you
Yeah,
listen
yeah.
to.
Yeah, but I wonder if I'm right about that.
You're not.
Yeah,
but wonder away.
Come on, I don't know. You're a different breed. I bet you if we asked men 45 and older,
Yeah.
it's like that Squeeze record, 45 and up. How many Dire? Well, I guess naming Dire Straits songs and being able to recognize them when they're playing are two different things. But I bet you most people are. I'm going 11 as the over under. I'm sticking with it. I added one.
One song.
I see where this
you
is going.
convinced me. Your argument was so strong. I added one.
Thank you.
There we go.
Oh my god.
I guess the bottom line is everyone's. If you can play, your tone's going to be good because that's one of the things that I've always noticed with guitar players, and I fall into the not good side of this category. Like when you're playing guitar, for a lot of us, we have to have our rig so perfectly friggin' set up just the way we like it so our fingers will work right. You know? And it's like if something's wrong, it throws us off. And, you end up being like, oh, I didn't play well that night because my amp sounded like crap.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Your amp sounds like different than it normally does. It shouldn't matter at all because no one in the friggin' audience is going to notice. There's not one person. Like, I wonder how many.
But if you care enough to put that time and effort in, that probably means you're listening. And if you're listening to your amp and what you're hearing coming back at you is not what you're expecting or what you like, I think it is tougher to play.
Exactly. But it shouldn't be. You should just play because, like I said, people will enjoy what you're playing less if you're in your head worrying about your pedals in your amp than then if you just played through a friggin' PV Bandit with no effects and just turned it. If you're comfortable and you're playing and you're doing well and you're a good player, it's not going to matter all that much to the audience. I really think that
I don't think it will either.
Yeah, I don't think the audience really notices. I think all that gear, all that psychological gear stuff. Because how many times in here have I said, not to the person's face, but when we're working on a guitar, being like, this person doesn't need a guitar tech, he needs a therapist. Because it's true.
I'm wondering if that's been said about you, Rich.
My therapist has said it.
Yeah. I think there's like a with that whole thing you just were talking about. I think if you get to the point where you get to a certain skill level as a player, and your guitar sound becomes part of the extension of what you're trying to play. If you can get what I'm saying, like if something's wrong, it's like almost like a block. Like you can't get your notes out right.
But you should be able to transcend that, and I think very few guitar players can.
Yeah.
Oh, agreed.
Yeah, but it's like they used to say about Stevie Ray, like he was this kind of quiet, meek dude, and he get a guitar on, and he became like this monster. It was like his guitar was breathing almost, But he had all kinds of amps up there, He had the Dumbles and the super leads and all that.
He also played a Fender twin reverb for a while?
Yeah.
He had that as part of his A/B channel.
What was the band when it was Serious Trouble or Double Trouble?
Double Trouble.
When they had the keyboard, when the bigger band, when there was the keyboard player,
yeah.
I liked it better that
In Step, yeah.
Yeah, I like that.
In Step, yeah.
Reese, what was his name?
Winans?
Reese Winans, yeah.
Yeah, was it?
Yeah, that was a
great album, Riviera Paradise. Mm-hmm. Oh, it's gorgeous. Yeah.
See, I can't remember any. Like my memory for that shit is so bad. It's like I can listen to it and I know I know that song, but I don't remember. I don't even remember the names of friggin' songs. I saw this reel once online about how some people, depending on what part of your brain you use, you listen to melodies or you listen to words. I truly don't.
Right.
I have no ability to remember lyrics to songs, titles of songs. I just remember the melody. I have my favorite songs I've ever listened. My favorite songs in my life, songs I've friggin' written. I can't remember lyrics to. It's weird. It's like when I listen back to music. So I don't know. I don't have a brain for words when it comes to songs, not words talking, because I know I can talk a lot. But yeah, so it makes it really hard to remember the names of songs. People will be like, oh, this song. I'm like, yeah, I have no idea what that song is by the name of it.
Yeah.
And then you hear it and you're like, oh yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right, so
well, how about we come at it like this? What are some of the great
I don't like the way he said that.
considered tones
that was
that
weird.
don't strike you the right way?
That was weird.
That don't strike you the right way.
Like, I'll give you my example. Guy absolutely has a phenomenal tone. One of the great guitar players, Dwayne Allman.
Mm-hmm.
The tone,
You don't like the Allman Brothers?
I love the Allman Brothers. That tone, though, it doesn't do it for me. It is absolutely a phenomenal tone. But for some reason, it just doesn't connect with me.
We should have an eject button. But it would just eject him into the ceiling.
You're telling me there aren't are considered great players with great tone?
I'm trying to decide if it's because I don't necessarily like his playing or not, but I don't like Jeff Beck, his tone.
Oh, that's right. You talked about that.
Yeah, I'm not a big Jeff Beck fan. It's like something about the way he sounds. It's but yeah, you could go.
Do you like Blow by Blow?
Well, see, we're going back to that. No, I don't know. I just don't like when I hear Jeff Beck playing.
So, yeah, I like his tone.
Yeah. What tone? What other tone do I not like? That's a tough one because if I don't like it, I don't listen to it, and if I don't listen to it, I don't know it. Whew, that was a good one.
I never liked fuzz guitar that much. Like I know that was Hendrix's thing, but he had a different kind of.
That was
fuzz Who are some of the, like the Spirit in the Sky, that tone? Like,
Norman Greenbaum.
Yeah, you don't like that?
I love the song.
Problem with fuzz. There's so many different kinds, and there's like the, what was Univox made the, what was that Univox fuzz pedal called? I forget.
The Fuzz Face?
No, that was Dallas Arbiter.
Arbiter. Yeah, right.
But you get that real smooth, like the big muff fuzz, all the way back around to the Roger Mayer Axis fuzz, which was the Hendrix thing, where it's just so crunchy.
Yeah.
It's a crunchy fuzz. But it's weird how all of that is called fuzz,
Yeah.
but it's distinctly different versions of it. The right fuzz, I think, is an amazing sound, but the crunchy one, I still like it.
Can you give me a specific fuzz tone or tune? Like
Oh, fuzz pedal. What do you think all that Jack White stuff is? It's all.
Yeah, I think that's got to be fuzz.
That's all. I don't know what fuzz pedal he uses.
Oh, yeah, you're right. I guess it's...
Doesn't the fuzz pedal change the signal as opposed to a distortion pedal, which just boosts it and overdrives?
It's a square signel, right?
Yeah. I always thought so.
Yeah.
But
The sine wave or
Yeah.
But would this be overdrive, distortion, or fuzz when you go to that Lenny Kravitz, Are You Gonna Go My Way, that opening riff?
Oh, yeah.
That's like a smooth fuzz that kind of sounds almost overdrive distortion.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I think it mimics that sound, but it's slightly different. That's actually a good tone. I like that.
no, I like that song a lot.
Yeah.
That it's funny, if we talk about this kind of crap, this is what people will actually probably, if they listen, they'll put in the comments being like, "You fucking idiots!" It's like, what are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about, and that's okay because
That's fine.
We don't really want those people listening to us.
all the gearheads out there who are chasing their tone, and that's really what it all comes down to. It's like everyone's just chasing a tone that I always tell them. It's like when people come in and they're like, "I want this tone," and it's like, well, that tone is not what it sounded like in the room when the guy was playing it.
Yep.
That's going through a great microphone, through a tube preamp that's blah blah blah, and it's going through all this stuff, and it's compressed and it's mastered, and that's not it at all.
Yeah.
So to chase that final one, it keeps the music industry in business. People just keep building pedals, and the next hot pedal, and everyone wants it because it sounds just like whoever. It's all.
But you come back to what Mark said, like the fingers. I mean, you're never going to have the fingers of that particular. If I want to sound like Eric Johnson, I can get the amp, I can get the guitar.
Eric Johnson's insane.
But you just don't have his fingers. You're not going to have the same exact tone.
Wasn't it Eric Johnson who was like all worried about having the batteries worn down a little bit because the pedal sounds better when the battery's down to 9.2, that kind of crap. That
guy ripped apart his entire studio and rewired it in the middle of recording his Venus Island.
Really?
Because he thought there was something wrong with the way. Like there's definitely levels.
Therapist.
Yeah.
Therapist.
Absolutely.
It's that simple.
Yeah.
But great tone.
All right. So is it possible that we're going to go through a podcast and not go off on a tangent? This is killing me.
All right.
I'm trying my best not to go on a tangent.
What are we going on a tangent about?
All right, I am going to do my best. We're not going to go on the tangent because I got a question for you for the next one, and I'll let you think about it because really the next one's going to be of the great bands, which band would you definitely think you would not want to hang out with? Yeah, because we all know the bands we want to hang out with, but there's going to be fucking bands that you're like, fuck, screw that, I am not hanging out with those guys. Like,
do you have to like their music?
No, yes and no.
Bands that you like their music but still wouldn't want to hang with them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because the first thing that comes to my mind, can you imagine hanging out with Fleetwood Mac in the 70s? Oh my God, being in the middle of that triangle?
Yeah.
Or is that a parallelogram?
There
was more than a triangle, right?
there was a lot of weird.
Watch Daisy Jones and the Six, and you'll learn about that. But yes, all right. So that's enough for this one. Next time, I promise you, we will go off on one of my tangents and talk more about things than just gear, because who the hell wants to talk about gear?
Guitar players.
He does.
Guitar players.
Yeah.
That's who.
All right. See you next time. Bye.